Hey guys, so the last video I put out, I talked at the end about various player nicknames. I tried to think of some more. I really thought I could think of a lot more. I just haven't thought of very many. Wimpy Lassiter, the Black Widow, the Duchess of Doom, Josh the Beast Roberts. I don't know where that came from. Uh, Torpedo. Okay. Anyway, I didn't think of a whole lot. Well, I have to make a video about something because I'm still on sabbatical here. What about me? Never been a good enough player to have to have a nickname like the top guys do. There's been a couple of times where I guess I've had one or people have tried to assign one to me. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was stationed in Omaha, Nebraska, and there was a little bar there in Bellevue, Nebraska called the Shanty. A little, by any definition, a dive bar, two pool tables, but we had like a dozen APA 7s in this little bar. There were certainly better players in Omaha, but in the APA league, which is pretty big in Omaha, yeah, that was the place. And there were a lot of people that would get run out of, Big John's, the main pool hall up there, and decide they were going to come down to the shanty and rob us, and that didn't work out very well for them. Anyway, so back then, for whatever reason, and I'm not entirely sure why, we started calling each other awesome this, awesome that. Yeah, I think it started with Awesome Larry. Larry was a 7, not the strongest 7 in the group. I was the strongest 7 in the group. Another guy, Rod, was very close to me, um, but he was the epitome of one of the definitions, easy for me to say, that I've always said about what's the difference between an APA 6 and an APA 7. An APA 6 will get out every time he's supposed to get out. An APA 7 will get out every time he's supposed to get out, and sometimes when he's not supposed to get out. Awesome Larry was very, very good at getting out when he wasn't supposed to get out. It didn't matter how many clusters he had. Sometimes he would just get out anyway. Now, sometimes he wouldn't, but he would do some things to get out that it just boggles our minds. So he was, I'm pretty sure, the first awesome nickname person, Awesome Larry. I actually have a thing right here that Awesome Larry made for me when I got out of the Air Force and was moving away from Omaha. Just a little cue holder for league night. A little plaque says "Made for Dave Silts by Awesome Larry." Very cool. Doesn't fit in a case, but for league, that very, very cool little thing. People started calling me Awesome Dave. After that, we had Awesome Rod. Then after a while, it's like everybody that was a 7 became awesome this, awesome that, whatever. And heck, my APA team, which is like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, type players, the whole gamut. We got special T-shirts made that said "awesome this, awesome that," on our shirts. It was just a big thing. So that was, I guess, my nickname in Omaha. I don't know if it really was or not, but that a lot of people called me that. After I got out of the Air Force, I moved to Seattle, and I was running the APA league up there, and I was also a player in the league up there. One girl tried to saddle me with the nickname of Grasshopper, and the reason she tried to do it was because I just had so much adrenaline. I was just always jumping around and everything. It was probably pretty distracting to my opponents, but that's not why I was doing it. It was just a bundle of energy, and she tried to get everybody to start calling me Grasshopper. I didn't mind because I wanted a nickname, and it kind of tied in a little bit to like the whole be the ball, play by field type thing. If you remember the TV show Kung Fu, that's what I was thinking about when I heard Grasshopper. That's what I was thinking about. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that nickname didn't stick at all. Uh, Sally might be the only one that ever actually called me by that name. Most of the time, again, I don't know if this counts as a nickname, but if I had one in the Seattle area, they would call me the Dave. There were obviously more than one person named Dave on in the APA up there. And somebody might say, "Oh, well, Dave ran out," and the other person will go, "Oh, which Dave?" Well, the Dave. So there were quite a few people that would call me the Dave in conversation with someone else. I don't think they ever called me the Dave to my face. Maybe they did. I don't remember. But that might be the closest thing I ever had to a nickname when I lived in Seattle. It was just there. People don't typically pick their own nicknames. I do know one guy that chose his own nickname, not a pool player, just a alcoholic. He chose his own nickname. I'm not sure how well that's been working out for him. But anyway, the next closest thing I ever had to any nickname, and I kind of like it, but again, didn't stick. I was playing a multi-rail banks ring game. And this was probably 10, 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was in Louisville. And I was shooting really well in that. And I would, you call your shot 2 rails, 3 rails, 4 rails, 2 rails, 5 rails, things like that. And the guy at the next table, he just kept hearing me say the word rails, 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 rails. So he decided, well, I'm going to call you Rails from now on. And I thought Rails would have been kind of a cool nickname for, a banker. Never saw that guy before, or never saw that guy before or since, actually. So one person had a pretty good nickname for me and then disappeared off the face of the earth, perhaps. Don't know. This is a short video, but I don't have any new content because sabbatical and all that. So we'll just get through it. It's the 18th. Yeah, I think it's the 18th of July as I record this. So getting there, 13 days left. And so far hanging in there, I am seeing some improvement. Like when I wake up, this arm is not automatically sore every time because I slept on it weird or something. And so that is definitely an improvement, and I'm hoping that it continues because it keeps me motivated to continue my sabbatical. I guess my concern is that I just say, "Oh, this is good enough," and I start playing again, and then it could get bad again. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to do my best to tough it out. And one of the ways I'm trying to tough it out is making these silly little videos, trying to do it nightly if I can. And that's it. Thanks, guys.